Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here. My next and last Legend of Korra episode commentary for Book 4 Balance, and overall I suppose as well. This is the last one in the entire series, and this one obviously is going to be for K413, The Last Stand, final episode of the series. So, to sync up your copy of the episode with this commentary track, what you need to do is have the episode ready to start at the start of the episode, not including the intro this time. So, just have it ready to press play as we start off with the first scene. So, you'll see Kuvira's Colossus just breaking its way out of ice at the start. So, have it ready to press play at the start of that. I'm going to stop speaking now in a moment. When I come back after a brief pause, you hit play, I'll hit play, and we'll both be synced up. So, going to stop speaking now, hit play when I start speaking again. Okay, so here we are with the last Legend of Korra episode commentary. The Last Stand. What an episode this is. An excellent way to end the series, of course, with obviously the kind of completion of the action and stuff that was set up from Day of the Colossus, but just primarily a lot of just big moments here. Just a lot of stuff going on here. You get our final confrontation between Korra and Kuvira. You get a really nice resolution to basically Kuvira's threat as a villain. And just, Mako gets a big moment. And then you basically get into the epilogue, and you just have some, again, more emotional stuff. It works as a final episode. It's got the emotion, kind of epilogue-style stuff, plus a lot of action. And so we start off here with just, again, Korra giving the orders, Sue and Lin, you take out the gun. Mako, Bolin, you take out the power source. I'm going after Kuvira. Just really great to see Korra take command. Also, really cool to see Bolin using basically Gazan's kind of signature lava bending technique there. And then, the brothers get a big fight here. Obviously, they're at a disadvantage here against metal benders in a place made completely of metal. The whole inside is bendable. And it's just really cool that the one consistent thing they kept with Mako throughout the entire series is just, he is an amazing bender. So, he's beaten Minghua fair and square. He can handle this guy. Bolin has got a lot better, and so you're pretty confident about him, so it works really well. So, Lin protecting her sister, she's going to take on the guy as Sue takes out the weapon. And, you think this is the weapon out of the way. They make a point, it's destroyed, it's been ripped off, it's been thrown away. But I love that it comes back. I love that it being thrown and not getting exploded or anything like that is a big deal. That it's still in some way active. That, all of the canisters of spirit vines have basically been destroyed, but the kind of cannon itself and some of the power stuff is still working. It's just such a cool setup, and so when it comes back, you're like, whoa, I can't believe that this came back. And Kuvira just arm's not working, rip. Because I assume she knows someone's in there, someone's just done something. If we do this, they're gone. And so, and you're just whoa, are Lin and Sue alright? But here you go, the cannon was primarily intact, thrown into where you see it here. But they're still alive, but they're unconscious, took a bad hit. And here we go. This is our big final battle in the final series. Ultimately, it's short, it's in a very confined space. There's some really cool stuff happening here. There's some great bending moves. They're both metal benders. Korra has all of the elements. She doesn't really have access to water, I suppose, too much in here. But she can do everything. And, they're fighting in the control room of this giant Colossus. And Kuvira's the one meant to be controlling it, so the Colossus has basically stopped here and now while the battle's happening. Really big hits going on. But it just felt a little short, not as grand or big as it perhaps should have been for a final battle. And so you end up with Kuvira having more of a plot-driven fight, I suppose, as the final battle. Kind of like Amon, where Korra and Amon never really fought one-on-one super evenly. It was always just kind of plot stuff happening, Amon always has the advantage over Korra. Korra uses airbending, she gets the advantage. Amazing shoulder tackle. Reminds me of Striker Titans in Destiny, just that shoulder charge attack. Really cool to see that. And the two of them take it out. But stuff doesn't work. But as I was saying about the Kuvira fight, it's just, once the thing explodes, the fight is basically over between the two of them. It becomes more of just a plot thing. Kuvira's going into the kind of Spirit Vine jungle. Korra follows her. Spirit Cannon's been fired, it's out of control. Korra says Kuvira, that really helps Kuvira to see how powerless she is compared to Korra. You never, I don't really think get the fight that you need between the two of them, like say a Korra Zahir or a Korra Unalaq fight. And yeah, Mako realizes that the only way to take this thing out is to just pump it full of electricity. Basically, this is the whole thing. It works scientifically with what they've set up throughout the entire season, that the way to make Spirit Vines explode is to basically have energy go back into it. That was how the bomb worked and stuff like that. So Mako using lightning bending here is going to work really well. I like this conversation because Bolin's like, you don't need to do this to be cool or anything like that. But Mako's not trying to do it to be cool. He's just honestly knows that he's the only one who could do it here. His bending is more kind of energy focused, I suppose, with lightning. He can do this, and he's basically willing to make this sacrifice if needs be, but he's going to try and get out if he can. And I love how he charges up the lightning, that it's not just the very quick stuff we've seen before that primarily just knocks out people. This is full on, separate the positive negative energy. One of the best pieces of music, one of the most emotional moments in the entire series, let alone this finale episode. And they give it to Mako, and it's the one scene that really saves him in this book, in my opinion. This one moment where he's willing to kind of sacrifice himself for his friends. And then gets the burn on his arm, and you can see him he's trying to dodge, he's trying to get to the hatch to get out, but he's hit just before the end. Amazing animation, amazing music, really powerful scene. Mako's at risk. Is he going to die or what? Because you know the way the writers have treated him for the past 2 seasons, so like them killing him off in this sacrificial moment doesn't seem too out of line for them. Really cool airbending drop kick there by Korra. Oh, love that kind of armbar judo throw there from Korra. You know a fight is big and it's important when the animators and kind of stuff like that, they start putting MMA type moves into fight. It's not just bending, there's some grappling going on there. Bolin comes back to save Mako. Bolin gets his moment, he saves his brother. Earlier on in the series, it was always the other way around. Mako saving Bolin. Final moment, he gets his moment. So the two brothers get their moment. The Colossus is ripped in half. And Kuvira and Korra in the top, Mako, Bolin in the bottom. Who survived, basically. Everyone has, but everyone's injured in some way. Mako from the electricity and the burns. Bolin just from the fall. Mako from the fall. And then our main hero and villain, of course. Interesting. I completely thought they were going to end the fight here. Just that Korra is the one left standing after the the big crash, and Kuvira's down, injured. But no, they're just like, whoa, rock two-face, the fight is still on. What's happening here? Korra's kind of knocked unconscious for a little bit, gets up, follows Kuvira, and injured Kuvira into the Spirit Wilds. And I like that they kind of, I suppose, sell the injuries here, that they make it clear they have been injured in this giant explosion and fall from a height in a place full of metal. She's not willing to give up. And what does she find in the Spirit Vine? I thought we were going to see Ko here when she looks into the Spirit Vines and is like, oh, what's this? But Korra walks in, and it's the very thing that's been thrown in there earlier on in the episode, as I was setting up earlier on. The Spirit Vine cannon, perfectly aimed at Korra. Convenient hand-fire mechanism, but it all makes sense here. The weapon is connected to Spirit Vines because of the way it's trapped in the thing. It's basically got unlimited ammo because it's constantly attached to a whole wilds full of spirit vines. And this weapon is just destroying everything in its path, connecting to all the vines, completely out of control. This weapon that basically Kuvira made to signify her control, her power, is now out of control. She is helpless on this machine. She can't turn it off. And you see the way her voice kind of cracked there a little bit. She's just like, I can't. Like, that's one of the hardest things for Kuvira to say, given her character and how much it's all about power. She falls off and is about to get murdered by this thing. Korra steps in to defend her enemy. And what a powerful moment that her final big bending moment is bending pure spirit energy. Spirit bending, literally, kind of what she was taught by Unalaq. Avatar state. And it's just so powerful, the spirit wilds and all of the energy here, that it creates a new spirit portal and sucks the two of them into the spirit world. And I love the kind of reaction shots from everyone, just like, this thing is just blowing up everything, kind of. I suppose it's more energy here rather than actually, like, destroying stuff. This doesn't create a giant crater across the whole city, just in the immediate aftermath kind of area. And yeah, really cool moment, just another spirit portal. But at the same time, like, you really made spirits not mean much. Just a few episodes ago, you had the spirits specifically say, no, we won't help you. And then, new spirit portal. This is the same series that introduced the other two spirit portals to us. It's a cool moment to have one in Republic City, the place where spirits are actually living with humans. But it's meant to be this kind of equality thing between humans and spirits, but there is no equality because the spirits don't care about the humans, apparently. But it's still a strong moment. There's Varric and Julie, they're safe, Asami's safe, Tenzin's safe, Mako's up, as is Bolin, Iki. There's Jinora gone in to check on Korra. Don't know where they are. And you sort of know, okay, spirit portal, they're obviously in the spirit world. Has no one realized this yet? But here we go. And this is obviously a reference here to kind of beginnings and like Korra seeing this vision of herself when she forgot who she was. And that's what it's meant to signify here, that one of these people here is actually Kuvira. And it's the final moment for Korra to realize that she and Kuvira are very similar in many ways. And she finally realizes it here when they have their final talk here. She can understand why Korra is willing to help and stuff like that. And then you have a position here where Kuvira is frightened, she's scared, she's in a position where she has no control in the spirit world. She's never been in there, she doesn't know anything about it, she doesn't care about the spirits. Whereas Korra is now really comfortable in the spirit world. She's at ease here and has complete control. So it's a complete role reversal from like their first confrontation, where Korra was in a kind of bad way, just on her healing. And yeah, they're both strong women, you know, they sometimes do things without thinking. But she says that, you know, you have did this, you did mess up a lot of stuff. You should have known that this was wrong. And ultimately, this works as a really good reason for the villain doing what they're doing. What it lacks is just, you went from about villain level 3 to villain level 10 in like one step. It doesn't quite fully explain. Like the idea that they try this orphan thing, she tries to protect people so no one will ever have to experience what she did while growing up. It doesn't explain like attacking Republic City to get back this place that hasn't been part of the Earth Kingdom in like 70 years. Korra understands Kuvira, though. She understands what it means like. She would have done anything. Yeah, it's just a really strong moment where they just have this connection where Kuvira realizes that Korra has been through a lot. That she even joked kind of earlier on about Korra, like, you know, you were gone, you were sick, and then she kind of gets the explanation here, like, you know, I was poisoned, I nearly died. You know how powerful I am. You can understand what it was like for me to be out of action for so long. I didn't want this to be the case. And yeah, again, you know, Korra helping the villain out of the spirit world. And Kuvira realizes, like, she is so much more powerful than me. Stand down. This is over. Yeah. Korra saved her biggest villain. And ultimately it came down to just this idea that she understood what she was about. That was the biggest thing. She made that connection with the villain and was able to kind of solve it without having to, like, kill someone. There's the apology. Yeah, Korra has saved the day. It's a really big moment. Again, the spirits come straight back, you know. Hey, thanks humans for saving our city. It's just like, oh, I would have loved it if Korra just walked up to the spirits and it's like, you get back in there. Until you help us again, you're staying in the spirit world. Cut straight to epilogue. Varric Julie wedding. Just really cool moment. Just see all of these kind of characters there at the wedding. To get the vows. Raiko, Buttercup. Lots of characters there. Ginger. It's just a really emotional moment. Just like, this is such a weird random relationship to kind of have as kind of like one of the big kind of epilogue event, but it works for these two. This relationship just came together very well in this moment, in this season. Julie Moon. It is a water tribe wedding. They're both in the water tribe. There's snow there. It's just really nice. And then, of course, Julie is the one to kind of dip Varric. Conrock. Laying in a new outfit for the first time in like the entire series, apart from when she was kind of like injured in book 1 and stuff like that, and I think immediately after her acupuncture session with Ai Wei. But yeah, there we go. Fireworks. It's on Air Temple Island. That's pretty cool. This is a place where it happens. After party, and yes, the band: Tano, Wolfbats, Lu and Gon, Hasuk. And Tarlok's Page is there as well. So like some of the minor characters coming back in. Iki dancing. Milo in his fancy clothes. Mako hearing about what Wu has done. Still in a cast from his injury. And Wu even get the final mode. Like the whole thing with the Badger moles wasn't just it. They actually have Wu have this really important thing. Korra's awesome new party outfit was really nice. And yeah, Wu is going to step down and get rid of the monarchy completely. He's basically going to have elections just in all the states in the Earth Kingdom. And ultimately this is what here, and to some extent what Kuvira were looking for in some way, that it wasn't just ruled by just this one person who doesn't really know everyone. It's better that let leaders form in each of these individual towns. So he makes a really cool decision at the end. And they all agree. It's a strong moment where he has had this really good minor character arc. It worked really well for him. Final kind of Mako Korra scene. She's obviously heard about what exactly he did. He was willing to nearly kill himself to make this happen. And then he's going to follow her no matter where. That's how close friends they are. And here we go, Korra Sami stuff. Oh, that was after this Tenzin bit. No final scene between Korra and Bolin. A little bit like, maybe they could have fit that in somewhere. Just to have one moment with all of the key important members of kind of her group. And this is really cool final thing between like a kind of mentor apprentice. They've both helped each other throughout the entire series. It's been a really cool relationship that's developed over the whole thing. That Tenzin has learned just as much from Korra as Korra has learned from him, and they're basically kind of equals at this point in time. And this is interesting. She understands why she needed to do that. It's one of those ones they maybe could have phrased it a little bit better, where it's not like, I needed to suffer to understand suffering. But you get the idea that it was important that she got through her big moment to kind of understand like what Kuvira was feeling. And there's a hint here that like Asami's kind of lying just to get Korra to herself, but it's nice. And the as we get into these kind of final Korra Asami moments, it's just like, I just think fundamentally over the course of the entire series, these two characters didn't quite interact with each other enough, and in a way that made it clear that they were going for this. That is the problem. I think Asami hasn't really been a main character for a while. She's come much more back into it in season 4, but like in season 3, yes, you get the friendship stuff, but she's not really in season 2 that much and doesn't really interact with Korra all that much. In book 1, they don't interact all that much. I have no problem with this relationship happening. It's just like, you give the final basically 5 minutes of the entire series to this relationship, and it's cool. It's really cool that they do that, but I feel it doesn't represent what the series overall is. That the series fundamentally is about Korra, and ending with Korra Asami, it's nice that she finds this happiness. They go into the spirit world together, spirit world vacation. But I feel it's like you're basically saying romance was this big thing. We set up this relationship. It's on the same level of Katang. It's a really nice moment, but it wasn't on that level. You had the blush, you had those 2 scenes just here, but wasn't enough to really say that this is worthy of the final moment of the entire series. I feel it perhaps should have been maybe the second last moment of the series, and then the final moment is maybe they're in the spirit world. Asami's off looking at some spirit stuff, and then basically Rava just kind of like talks to Korra, and you have like this final moment between just Avatar and the Avatar spirit, and you kind of get something like the legend of Korra, literally. I feel it needed to end on Korra alone, because Asami doesn't really feel like a character on the level to be deserving of like this big of a role in the very final moment of the entire series. It's an important scene for sure that this has happened on a Nickelodeon show, that this was allowed to happen, that Mike and Brian went down this road, and that's really cool. But how important this is in terms of like representation, I think, is different from how well is this relationship done writing-wise. And that's a big difference. It's great from the representation point of view. Like, I don't think there's really any arguments with that, but from a writing point of view, that relationship isn't the strongest one in the series, and overall it just kind of adds to the whole thing of like romance in general wasn't really the best thing in The Legend of Korra. But it's still a strong moment, I think, to end the series on, that it happened. I think a better representation of the series overall for a final scene would have been maybe something with Korra on her own. Because with Katang at the end of Avatar: The Last Airbender, you know what their relationship is. You know that they are going to work as a couple from like season 2. You're just waiting for them to finally get together. On the other hand, Korra Asami is kind of like, they have 1 or 2 little scenes, they get together, we don't really get much of an idea of their like relationship in a romantic sense. So I hope the comics cover more on this relationship, I really do. But it's always going to be just one of those weird moments where I just like, the lead into this finale I don't think had enough setup for Korra Asami to make me go like, oh, that was fairly obvious that they were going to do that. And so it ends up being more of a like, oh, whoa, they actually did that. That blush actually meant this, and this actually meant that. It should have been a bit more obvious if they were giving the final scene of the show to it. But yeah, overall, just this series is amazing. It's been so fun to go through this final series in these episode commentaries. To anyone who's watched all of them across all 4 seasons, thank you so much for listening to these. I hope you've enjoyed them, because I've definitely enjoyed recording them. Just watching these episodes and talking out loud has really allowed me to get, I suppose, a different perspective on things, to really just say exactly what pops into my mind when I'm watching these episodes, and just some of the stuff I talk about surprises even myself, and it's just been so enjoyable to do this. There's been some amazing moments this season, and just, it's sad to know that there is no more episode commentaries to do, really. You know, I may eventually get back around to doing the Avatar The Last Airbender commentaries at some point, but for the most part I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm going to take a break from the episode commentaries. I've got some other video series I'm working on right now. It's nice to, I suppose, in many ways have finished the last piece of, like, coverage for the Legend of Korra Book 4, in terms of, you know, I've done the reviews for the site, I've done the reviews on my YouTube channel, I've done podcasts for each of the episodes, and now I've finished the episode commentaries. I feel like, kind of finally, you know, many months after the end of Legend of Korra, all the kind of post Book 4 stuff is kind of finally out of the picture. But yeah, of course I'll continue to cover Avatar on my channel. Like Free Comic Book Day is coming up in just a few weeks. I'll definitely, if I can get my hands on the book, I will be reviewing that day one. We'll have a podcast review for that as well. There's definitely still some Avatar stuff to come, but it's primarily comics related from here on out. So I'll just end it here and just say, you know, in the comments, I'd love to know what your thoughts were on, you know, this commentary specifically, but also just the commentaries across all of the seasons. Just like, let me know if you've watched all of them, all like 52 commentaries. So thanks for watching this commentary, and thanks for watching the entire series, and bye.